Hello, everyone. Thank you again for coming to Mary's Little House. Happy Sunday. I know if you're probably, this is in the evening. It's all pitch dark outside. I was coming back from the place I'll tell you about, where I had a wonderful experience with people, beautiful people. I'll tell you about it. When I was coming up the driveway with the car, a white-tailed deer flashed in front of me, or to the side over to the next door and up Mary's path. It's a beautiful fall, and it disappeared into the woods. So I'm just so blessed with God's creatures around me. And Skittles too was just beautiful. He's filling out. He's getting good food and drink here at Mary's Little House, and he also was well, he saw me off really. Before I get started on All His Grace number 14, it was such a nice day. I wanted to do something before the weather got really bad and cold, and I've been saving over the years mirrors, little mirrors, big mirrors, pocket mirrors, so I had a box of mirrors, or a basket of mirrors. But what I wanted to do is this. I was standing at the street corner. Oh, I had an accompaniment. This is Mr. D. This is Mr. D. And I call myself Donkey Jim. You remember that Mr. D, or the donkey, is my favorite biblical animal, because the donkey carried Mary and Joseph, and Mary with child, to Bethlehem. And when it was dangerous in Bethlehem, the donkey carried Mary and Joseph and Jesus, or Jesus and Mary. Joseph just guided the donkey to Egypt for safety. So I wore him around my neck, right here in front of me. Now that was a little bit different, and some of my friends down there, my adult friends, kept a distance from me. I don't blame them. This crazy guy that I was carrying, Mr. D here, and he was helping me do what we will be describing. That I go in and I ask the proprietor. Today it was the proprietor's son at the convenience store what I'm doing, and I ask him. It's a way to get permission, even though I'm on the sidewalk where the bus stops, on the bus stop sidewalk. But I do park my car in the parking lot, and he knows what I'm doing. Anyway, I introduced myself today. This is Mr. D. Mr. D. And Peanut doesn't like for me to have him. He was a little jealous. Peanut's right below Mr. D here on my lap. Peanut, my dog, and I'm Donkey Jim. Well, he didn't know how to handle that either. So thank you for putting up with me, and thank you. I got some surprises out there, some mirrors, and he didn't know what that meant either. So he came out later to see what I was doing. Anyway, I got a table with a nice tablecloth out, and I had my basket of mirrors, or little basket like mirrors, a plastic thing, and I had a walnut bowl. You know those walnut bowls that you cut out the center, and you have a walnut bowl with the bark is still on the sides, of peppermint candies, covered peppermint candies. And in the middle, I had what my goddaughter Savannah Kay gave me, a bust of Jesus. There he is, Jesus. Most of the people there that I talk to are black people. They're wonderful people. They just I just love them very much. But anyway, after I got it all set up, I held this placard up. Here. See some beautiful people. See some beautiful people. I almost caused some wrecks because the people traveling by tried to read the sign. I got to make bigger signs. See some beautiful people. Well, then I waited for people to come. At first, people were afraid and didn't know what was going on. They know who I am. I give away gift bags, but this was different. And anyway, especially with Mr. D on my in front of me here, he was hanging from from this pink or red leash, cloth leash, dog leash. anyway, I people started to come, and they brought their kids, and they were delighted. Here's what I would do. I would say, do you want to see a little girl? This was a little girl, and she's just beautiful. She's wearing this or that, and she's just beautiful. And I want you to see her picture. So I would take a mirror, and she would look at it and say, who is that? And then I say, oh, isn't she beautiful? God made you so beautiful. But that was basically, well, the teenagers, some of them were, this wasn't cool. But after a while, two of the boys came over, and I couldn't believe, I didn't know what they were standing there for. They were waiting to do the same thing, and they did it. I did it to them too. Said, here, there's a handsome young man here. I want to see a picture of him. I got it right here, and I showed it to, and they just smiled, and they took, then I gave the mirror to them to remember how beautiful God made you. So that's what I did this afternoon. Gave away all my mirrors. So Mr. D helped a lot. Kept a lot of people away because that was a little over the top. Okay, now Mr. D, you got to go here. And Peanut doesn't like you to share my lap. I'll put Mr. D next to Teresa here. We're still talking about St. Teresa. She is a doctor of the church, and she's just turned upside down the general opinion that most of us have to go to purgatory first. And she doesn't want that. Neither does God want us to go to purgatory when we could make up for oh, I forgot to do my tie here. I just got this is a leash here, a dog leash. She is we don't have to have that useless suffering if we do live a life of love, of perfect love, and trust in God's mercy, not in our merits and not in trying to get do everything to avoid purgatory, but live a life of trust in God and God's mercy. So I'm concluding this whole thing on the mercy of God on the I'm gonna put Jesus' bust here. You can't really see it in the thing. He's just the color of the tabletop. We're going to include this treatise on the Saint Teresa of the Child Jesus, and we're going to call this, according to Father Hubert, Saint Teresa's teaching of a great message for the third millennium. So it's really wonderful. That's what theologians are supposed to do. They're like the household, the one that gets old and new out and shows it to the people, shares it to the people. That in one of the parables, Jesus, how a good and faithful servant, and that's a theologian, and she's a theologian. I know she's not a formal one, but she's a doctor of the church, and her teaching is perennial and solid for the ages. Okay, I'm just going to read from Father Hubert's essay. We'll be concluding this today. So grateful you're here. So grateful. St. Teresa's teaching a great message for the third millennium. And here we're starting out this way. She just turned. Well, I'll just read it. One can rightly say that Therese is turning all common opinions on purgatory upside down. She wants to appear before God empty-handed, and explains why it can be easier for sinners who have nothing to rely upon to reach heaven than the great saints with all their merits. She emphasizes that trust alone is enough, that merits are no guarantee, but often an obstacle for the straight way to heaven, and that sins do not need to be an obstacle. After a messed up life, God can still take one straight to heaven if the dying person only has trust. And how easy it can be to trust if there are no merits but only one's misery. Through trust, she shows the shorter way to heaven, to the small and the humble. And so many can and will go that way. She writes about this to her sister Marie. What pleases him, God, is that he sees me loving my littleness and my poverty, the blind hope that I have in his mercy. That is my treasure, dear godmother. Why should this treasure not be yours? As has been said, she has made sanctity available for everyone through her little way. We could all practice it. Oh, it's so exciting. And this is also true for the straight way to heaven, no purgatory. This will no longer be an exception. Isn't that wonderful? You're right on the bottom floor of this new realization, this new awareness. Our very poverty will get us straight to heaven, our acceptance of it. Once those who are smart enough to gather from the treasure of our new doctor of the church will walk this way easily, especially those who want to be part of the legion of little souls which St. Therese asked God for at the end of her manuscript B. I beg you to cast your divine glance upon a great number of little souls. I beg you to choose a legion of little victims worthy of your love. Yes, by listening to her wonderful message, there will be many, many souls, and with that, purgatory stops being the unavoidable detour to heaven. Isn't that beautiful? I just think it's marvelous. And I when I read about that she prayed to God about having this legion of little, a great number of little souls, and this legion of little victims, I said, I'm one of those. I'm one of those. And so I'm not planning on going to purgatory. Because I got plenty of littleness, I have plenty of poverty. Even today, when I was trying to get things done, and I know it's Sunday, but I had to do some things, not servile work, but things that were necessary, that were time valued. But anyway, I felt like I was empty-handed again, and say, I'm practicing up for heaven here, because I felt like I didn't get anything done. Just running to answer the phone and trying to do all the little things with the pets and everything. So I don't have any, I'm not standing on great accomplishments today. Not even good leisure. I messed up that even too. It is okay though, because we go to heaven empty-handed, trusting only in the Father's love and mercy for us. And that's the revolution. That's the turning the common opinion that everybody has to go to purgatory on its head. And so we're called to trust not only for purgatory's sake, but in God's love for us and His His wanting to pick us up when we're so little, when we acknowledge our complete need and complete dependence on Him, not on how great we've been performing or anything, but just that we trust wholly and completely in His love for us. God bless you now.